It would be a lot more from someone doing red light therapy, by the way, because it's a 6.25-fold increase in exosome count when you do red light therapy. And so the mitochondria in the macrophages, and so they're receiving the light, so they're multiplying under that profound healing environment. And it's an amazing science and study here for what we're seeing, which kind of then starts making sense why we see the rapid healing that we see, Zach. Massive benefit where you have full recovery within 4 sessions for all photobiomodulation patients, complete resolution of oxygen, dyspnea, shortness of breath, oxygen above 97%, relief from digestive distress, brain fog gone, memory recall gone, executive function back to normal.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back once again to another very special edition of Red Pill News. As always, I am Zak Paine, the corruption detector, and joining me today is my very good friend, Jonathan Otto. Jono, how you doing today, buddy?
Very good, Zach. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. It's always a pleasure to have you here. So I was thinking about what we wanted to talk about today, and I know that we've spoken about the fact that red light therapy is great for the production of stem cells. And this is something that I've looked into myself. I've had, before we met, I had like a couple of long-term injuries, and I was just, I'm 47 years old. I'm thinking about how my body is getting older. It doesn't heal as quickly as it used to. And I hear people like, Johnny Bravo or Joe Rogan, talking about going to Mexico and getting stem cell therapy. And obviously people are going to Mexico because it's a lot cheaper. But even still, it's a lot of money. I mean, I've also got a couple of people in my audience who have gone and just sworn by the stem cell therapy, but every single session is like $15,000, $20,000 a person. And I mean, for your average individual, that is just not going to be possible. So I was wondering if you could provide perhaps any sort of comparison for like medical grade stem cell therapy versus the red light benefits for stem cell generation in your own body. Like, how do those two things stack up to each other?
Yeah, exactly. Wow. Okay, so there was human studies done on this, right? So, which brings us into then looking even at light itself, right? So we could argue then that in nature itself, right? So when we talk about free therapy, why didn't the clinics tell you about that, right? When you went and got the stem cell treatment, make sure to get out in the sun or use a red light device and or X, Y, Z, other thing to help you to make more of this, which would in this case be specifically this study around differentiation of stem cells, meaning that something to help those stem cells mature into normal healthy cells. And then the other part would be migration, so they go to where they need to get to. And because a lot of the therapies are now IV, not all, right? Some will get IV directly in to get the stem cell that way. So now we need to make sure it gets to all the areas that are most affected. But if it's going straight in, I don't typically see people getting like their kidney injected directly with a stem cell treatment. They may do it in some areas of the bone. Very painful. And I spent $30,000 on my dad's knees, and it there was not a fraction. And believe me, we would have been so grateful, even a fraction of improvement when that much money was spent. And it's not like I had, it began about 8 years ago. It's not like I had all this money to drop on that. And then the same story was true for myself, my wife, and my father-in-law. So collectively, it was it was right around 100,000 I spent.
Wow.
Yeah. And so it's not that and I'm not against the industry. I am against parts of the industry in the sense that I think that they don't have an incentive to tell you what I'm about to tell you.
Well, there's a business model, I mean, like if you're selling a product, you want people to buy the product. You don't want people to go get the product somewhere else for free.
Yeah. And I will also say this really funny thing is, so where are the stem cells coming from? Drum roll, amniotic fluid. What is amniotic fluid? 90% fetal urine, 10% lung fluid, like fetal lung fluid.
Yep.
So when the baby left the womb, now and then they say, I got cord blood, I got Warden's jelly. Yes, it's all forms of cultured urine. Now, when the baby left the womb, the next day, did the urine become useless, right? It wasn't in other societies. There was some in which where the royalty were ready to, with their public servants at your doorstep, to collect the urine because it was used by the royalties because they understood the value of it for newborns. But that would then go for children. And then, but the fun fact is that the stem cell study from Wake Forest University, the Institute of Regenerative Medicine, funded by the NIH, found 100 million stem cells in a 24-hour urine sample. And when it was originally 140, but when it aged for 3 weeks, it went to 100 million. But the weirder part is that readily available was something like, not in this study, but in several other studies, dozens of them actually, show north of tens to even hundreds of billions, roughly on estimate from like, it would be a lot more from someone doing red light therapy, by the way, because it's a 6.25 fold increase, which is basically like a 5 times increase in stem cell count, in exosome count when you do red light therapy. So your exosome count would be higher if you're doing red light, but roughly for the average person, taking that factor out, you would have a roughly 100 billion exosomes, right? Readily available in your urine without culturing it. And then you could argue then the best delivery would be rectal delivery, because you could get that without having to go through the stomach acid of like around the 2.5 pH that would break that down. But the lipid layer, the fat layer, the lipid layer would cause the arguably the cell to survive the stomach acid, but definitely the gut, the intestines, and through the rectum. So anyway, so yes, you could get free stem cells, right? So, for anyone, if we ended up using the thumbnail that said free stem cells, did you get what you paid for, guys? Did we tell you how to get free stem cells? I'm going to show you the studies on that so that you are crystal clear that is true. But now I'm going to tell you something else, right? Because even if you put new stem cells in the body, whether it was through urine or stem cell injection, it doesn't mean that you differentiated it, matured them, or migrated them. But I'm just going to go with quantity at the moment. Now, by the way, red light and PMF are both proven heavily to do those two mechanisms. Okay, if you look at the 2022 study, it showed specifically in this pilot trial in humans, the count in stem cells was massive. All right, and this was 278% increase. So it went from 7.8% to 29.5%. So you're seeing the raw numbers there, and here is the study here. I shared my whole screen. You can see this page of the journal page, right?
Yes, it's coming up.
Okay, verifying you are a human. Yes, I am. I think I am.
Last I checked.
Apparently I'm not. Okay, so photobiomodulation therapy to autologous, which is healing arising from one's own cells and tissues, bone marrow, in humans significantly increases the concentration of circulating stem cells and macrophages. A pilot study. Wow. Okay, so the 800s, right? So this is the near infrared light. This is the invisible part of what you can see behind me, which is a parody. Well, you can't see it, right? So you can't see the near infrared, but you can with a meter. Let's get that on. Hold on. All right, so there you'll see it right there. Okay, hold on. Anyway, it's small on the screen. I'll do this more later.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
See the 800s? Right? And over 1,000. So these are the different wavelengths proven to do this right now. And so I'll go back here because I'll make it easy for you guys. Easy for all of us. 278% increase. Okay, now here it is from where we found it. Now, okay, so this was, now we say how many stem cells was this? Okay, so then we go, okay. And so it's given us some equations here, and it's giving us various breakdowns. The other part I want to highlight here was the increase in macrophages. And I'll go back to the study for that. These mononucleated cells, macrophages here, look at how much they increase. 7.8 to 52.1.
Oh, wow.
More than a 5, that's like a 6x, right? Why is that important? That's the Pac-Man, baby. They're eating away at all the junk in the body. So wouldn't that be a really good therapy to do in combination? Let's imagine you're getting stem cell therapy for cancer. Wouldn't you like to clear out the junk as well? Like, wouldn't you like that nice catch-all?
Certainly.
So I'm as excited about the macrophages, but I know that you guys are all excited about stem cells. You know why? Because it's so sexy, right? Well, I could look young. I could be like, I could. the concept is amazing, and it is how the body works. And so med beds, right?
Mm-hmm.
Med beds. You think that if a med bed exists, will the med bed increase stem cell count? If the answer is no, then it doesn't even work with human biology. So that is complete pseudoscience, right? So the answer has to be yes. Yeah, yes, it does. Okay, so it's 278% enough. Well, no, I want more. Okay, well, this was after, how many sessions was this? This was one session.
Oh, wow.
And this, look at this. Commencing 2 hours post-treatment. Is 2 hours is too long for you, is it, Zach? You wanted it in 60 seconds. Well, it sounds like you have been drinking too many Red Bulls, okay? You are too addicted to immediate gratification. When you did the marshmallow test when you were a boy, you just gobbled that thing up. Like when they said you will come back in 20 minutes, give you a second one, you just like, nah, like you couldn't handle yourself, man. So anyone that's waiting for 2 hours, then look, you didn't wait at all, right? You just sat there doing nothing, okay? But it peaked at 2 to 4 days, right? Mm-hmm. Big weight, guys, huge weight. But now that was just the shins. And so I'm of course asking how many stem cells, but then it's given me numbers that would take us a while to then do some advanced math to find out. So I'm like, give me the number. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth. Yes, I can. Okay, so it was 20 to 100 million. And how much would you pay for that? I just did a call with SGT Report. He just went to Mexico, spent $5,000 on 50 million for each knee, which he got a deal, right? Because I've spent more than that on 100 million.
Yeah.
But Warden's jelly is more expensive and all that kind of thing, right? So now do the math on that, right? So then basically arguably for free, right? So if your friend has a red light panel, then you just got it for free.
Yeah.
And if you have one, then Lance Morris said it's a free ride if you've already paid. Isn't it ironic? Anyone remember that line? It's a smart line. And so you kind of think like once you got your kitchen installed and you pour water out, you kind of feel like water is free. You got your water bill, but it's you're not really thinking about the cost. But now I'm talking about what about the whole body? What about the whole skeleton? Because this was just the shins. Mm-hmm. Okay, so now this was the study, and this was the areas that they irradiated. And so now let's do the baselines here of the CD34 plus cells, the progenitor stem cells. This shin only, this was a roughly increase of the 14 to 140 million. So let's multiply it by the based on how big the shins are compared to the rest of the body. So let's run the numbers. All right, so this is giving us a nice little scale here, but it's between 500 million to a billion. Okay, now I take his little low number of 50 million per knee, so 100 million at 5,000. Now we'll 10x that to get to the baseline there at 50 million, and you're looking at 50,000.
Okay, now considering what you could achieve using the red light panel, how much would that equate to in terms of monetary value if you were going and getting the injections at a clinic?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like to match or exceed the number of millions to billions, you'd pay 10 to 50 per treatment, and then here's the sites that show like they're like third party sites saying like this is kind of the range of stem cell costs. Right. And so here you've got 150 to 300 million mesenchymal stem cells. This was you're charging this is where you get to like around the like up to 30 grand. Wow. Okay, so for that one hit, but now remember we're talking about per day.
Right. Obviously.
So now let's
30 grand per day is totally not something most people would be willing to accept.
Yeah, I know one guy that does 15K per week. His net worth is 9 billion.
Must
and
be.
He's a West Palm Beach guy, but he does look pretty young. he's a pretty old guy that looks pretty young. Anyway, so ready. So then let's go here. So now you're looking at like for the 15 to 25K mark, you're looking at 9.1 million. and at the higher end side, 9 to 18 million a year. So
jeez, oh Pete's.
That's pretty funny, really, when you think about it. And while we're on stem cells, I'll show you the NASA studies. NASA's not my favorite organization.
Well, they do some work.
Money laundering.
I had some friends that worked at NASA, and I had one friend that worked at NASA, and he was like the only guy who came into work at NASA every single day. He was like, he took me through the building that he worked in on FaceTime, and he was like, Zach, you're never going to believe this. He was like, nobody else shows up. He said, look, every single one of these empty desks, every single one has a body associated with it. None of them actually come into work, and most of them are not only working at NASA, but they also have another full-time job at, say, like a contractor or something like that. They are still doing a real job, but they're also getting paid at NASA to not do any work at all. It was incredible.
Wow. Think of Les Mis, you know, the new musical?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's at the end, I think, where like their friends are dead because they joined the revolution, and he's singing like empty chairs and empty tables. And
that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. I should say also, this was the last administration. This is not currently. It's a different bear now.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. And look, even whoever is president, let's just say there's a swamp as well, right?
Absolutely.
So I'm not looking for someone to crucify, and it is possible that the total upheaval of a system is not a little difficult, and then you, like, if everyone thinks that the Artemis mission launched on the 1st of April, thank you, April Fools, what a day to launch it on. But
that was a little too tongue-in-cheek. A lot of people picked up on that, and they were like, "Oh, come on, guys, what are you doing? What are you doing?"
And they didn't tell us how they got to design these amazing new parachutes that somehow can catch a 30,000 miles per hour speeding catapult-looking device with no propulsion that somehow ricocheted around the moon, and somehow it caught it, when it's landing. But thankfully, they took the portrait of the Earth that we've all been waiting for, because we all get that family portrait of the Earth that's the same every time, Zach.
Yes.
And they just like wait till you get to the key spot, and you just take the photo from that spot. Don't you? Nothing closer, nothing more far away. Just that perfect spot. Don't zoom in. And I could zoom in on the moon with my Nikon P1000 or whatever it's called. Yeah. And I could see the crevices. Just zoom in.
Yeah.
Anyway, zoom in. Show us some more, right? So I just don't know about this, man. I just don't know. Anyway, so sorry. I digress. So these were some of the studies here on the PEMF for red light. For PEMF for adipose derived stem cells, and the proliferation here, or the multiplication in cells, was 240 or 250 to 400% increase in neural stem cell growth. Mm-hmm. Right, so pretty amazing. So here when we're talking about the potential of a med bed, the increased DNA content in cell numbers as well, like it goes from 3.7 to 5.1 times 10 to the power 4. These are nice jumps that are now we're talking about DNA. And we're talking about interfacing with the mesenchymal stem cells in this regard. Now, you in macrophages, part of the reason why they're multiplying as well is because that was like a 6 times increase in macrophages. They have mitochondria, which I didn't really actually fully understand this, and so the mitochondria in the macrophages, and so they're receiving the light, so they're multiplying under that profound healing environment, and it's an amazing science and study here for what we're seeing, which kind of then starts making sense why we see the rapid healing that we see, Zach.
Well, also, it would make sense that if your body is going to be producing more stem cells, they're going to be like absorbing and actually using them and doing things with them, which would also necessitate the need to get rid of all the old junk that they're going to be replacing. So the macrophages would need to be there to just sort of like clean up in the aftermath. Like if you remodel your house, right? You got to do the tear down and then the rebuild, and then you got a bunch of junk that you got to clean up afterwards before you can move in.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So, look at this, right? So now, like I just want to show people how to look for information yourself, right? So I put in red light and stem cells, and now this gets more interesting, and this is why I keep feeding into this idea that we could be getting scammed. And the guys I might give a pass card to are the people, if the clinics are heavily educating people on light therapies, and then I might give you a pass card, but I might not. Still, it depends. Depends how I'm feeling. And no, I'm not that moody. Okay, so. I'll tell the truth as it is, regardless of how much sleep I got. Okay, so it stimulates the mitochondria and the stem cells, increasing ATP production, the adenosine triphosphate. So it's the cellular energy that's causing the production of stem cells, and it's the mitochondria in the stem cells, right? So it's called the mitochondrial stem cell connection. So, like I guess everyone watching this right now they probably didn't like biology, didn't think they'd be volunteering your own time to go back to biology. But you are. And so face it, you have to be a student of biology today if you want to live in this world without dying of sick.
I mean, you know what they say, physician, heal thyself. And if you don't have the knowledge, then you're not going to be able to heal much.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, so it's reducing cellular inflammation. It's relying on these mechanisms to synergistically work together. And now if we look here at, I like some of this research on it's taking dormant stem cells and utilizing them. Right?
Getting them going again. Well, I mean, ATP, I mean, that's vital for the actual mitochondrial to use to actually produce the energy in your cells. And if you don't have enough of that, then you're not going to be doing much of anything.
Yes, exactly. So accelerated healing, red light can help wake up dormant or aging stem cells. In laboratory settings, light exposed stem cells have been shown to release more angiogenic molecules, which form new blood vessels and improve wound healing. Okay, so Zach tells me, it's not working out with my wife. I'm gonna go find some pretty new girls, and then I say, Zach, have you bought flowers recently? Have you sewed into the woman that you have before you go out and try to get another one and repeat the same cycle?
Yep.
Same thing is true with the cells.
Absolutely.
Right?
Got to cultivate.
Yeah, like you be faithful with the few, now be made Lord over many. And so, so the few stem cells that you have, right? You got 2 loaves and five loaves and 2 fishes, and let Jesus multiply it. You get what I'm saying?
Sure, absolutely.
Yes, so light therapy helps regulate cytokine production, producing a more favorable environment for stem cells to thrive and repair damaged cartilage, muscles, or skin. Many regenerative clinics use red light therapy before and after stem cell treatment, such as injections. So like that is, notice that it's like, okay, we're going to put you on it, just before it and just after it. But people doing it from home starts making a lot more sense based on the other things that I'm showing you. And so here, you're now seeing, this is a 660 red light, enhanced bone marrow mesenchymal stem cell transplantation for hypoxic ischemic brain damage treatment.
Ooh.
There we go. The results showed after a 40-hour radiation under red light emitting diode at 660 nanometers at 60 watts per centimeter squared, which is actually a lot lower than what you're seeing behind you, which is over 200. An increasing number of green fluorescent labeled bone marrow mesenchymal stem cells migrated towards hypoxic ischemic damaged primary neurons. Oh. Meanwhile, neonatal rats with hypoxic ischemic brain damage were given an
peritoneal.
Given an intraperitoneal injection of 1 × 10 to the power of 6 bone marrow mesenchymal stem cells, followed by irradiation under red light emitting diodes. Right. Notice that this is LED tech. Yep. Right, so light emitting diode, non-flicker. That's what you're seeing here. Safest for at-home, full body use. 660 nanometers, 60 milliwatts per centimeter squared for 7 successive days. Shuttlebox test results showed that after phototherapy and bone marrow mesenchymal stem cell transplantation, and the active avoidance response rate of hypoxic ischemic brain damage rats was significantly increased, which was higher than that after bone marrow mesenchymal stem cell transplantation alone. Experimental findings indicate that 660 nanometer red light emitting diode irradiation promotes the migration of bone marrow mesenchymal stem cells, thereby enhancing the contribution of stem cell transplantation in the treatment of hypoxic ischemic brain damage. So now, this was only in migrating, but we just looked at a study that was showing the increase in stem cell count, and now which was solely, we were just solely focused on that aspect of the study, and that was really just looking at increase. It wasn't looking at migration. Now, once you put new stem cells into the body by producing them, that then maxed in 2 to 4 days, so then you hit the peak of that, the 30%, which was in this case 278% as a relative increase. Then you're taking those stem cells that you produced and you're migrating them to where they need to go to. And then the other thing that which we have not seen, which you've had to take my word for it at this part so far, is differentiation. Let's look for those words. Let's see where it's going to tell us about differentiation. Okay, let's go. Well, fine. Forget you. I'm just going to put the word in. I'll put an I there. Okay. Highly effective at boosting stem cell proliferation, multiplication, and migration, is often used in combination with other wavelengths. There you go. Multiple wavelengths. So this is what we've been talking about, whereas you're using red at 660, near infrared at 800. You just saw a study on 660 and you saw another study on 800s, near infrared. So what do you think?
No, it's pretty amazing. And it's obvious that the traditional medical interventions are having some effect, but there's a potentiating effect when you add the red light, which again is like, indistinguishable from what you're going to get in nature, but just concentrated and delivered at a specific level. So when you put them all together, obviously you're going to get much better results than you would just experiencing any of them alone on their own.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
absolutely. And so then here's that keyword that we're looking for: with other wavelengths or chemical signals to trigger specific cellular differentiation, which is transformation. So, or chemical signals to trigger specific cellular differentiation transformation. So this is transformation, meaning, okay, I'm not talking about Tony Robbins' personal development. Transformation, come on, baby, let's make you a better person today. I'm talking about the cell going from what it was to what it needs to be. And so,
because the stem cell starts off just as like the seed, right? Okay,
yes.
And then through the specific wavelength of light, it differentiates it into the cell that it needs to become.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so we see this play out in life where a little baby comes into the world and it has, it's as amazing as it'll ever be from its value and its worth, and that's why many people that watch this have a high value in pro-life, because the value of that individual is the same. Their expression becomes greater as they grow. Like my love for my parents has perhaps it's never been greater than when I was a baby, but perhaps it's never been greater as an adult, because I have empathy for them. I understand what they've gone through in their life. I know what it's like to suffer. I do what I can to, everything I possibly can to make their lives better. And there's ways that my love is expressed. My body is developed. It's strengthened. It's the unique values of a male and female surface as somebody ages, and you see more of that feminine beauty, more of that masculine handsomeness, or whatever it is. Like, these things mature. And same thing in the cells in the body. They go from an infant state to a heart cell, an eye cell. And people are like, bro, why'd you have to take that big analogy? Well, are you going to remember it now? I think you might remember it now. Yeah. And I get it. I'm taking you through this intense biological research that I feel like I owe it to you to kind of pretty it up a little. So these are the studies showing particularly around their transformation. And again, look at what you're seeing. What's the tech? LEDs, light emitting diodes. And the reason why I gave NASA credit for one thing that they had done in their whole career, which is helping the pioneering of LED technology, which is so simple in a way, which is pushing about 90% of the power into light and about 10% into heat. And whereas incandescent bulbs will do the opposite, 90% into light, 10% into heat, which is why they're not as high value in their irradiance source. You still probably will outperform the sun with it though, which is interesting. And so it's a $10 option that somebody could buy, but we're talking about somewhere around 50 times the strength, and that becomes an important thing. And so, then how does this play out real time? Right now, when you look at you've got a few minutes here to kind of land the plane on what you guys could be really beneficial. So people are battling chronic conditions.
Mm-hmm.
So all this then surfaces in us looking at key actual available tools for us. And I'm gonna even run some algorithms while we're doing this and show you real time. So this is the methylene blue study. I like this one. I believe I shared this with you guys.
Yeah.
But this was it straight from the clinical study. But now it starts making more sense because there's a whole bunch of things happening. So it's an antimicrobial photodynamic therapy. It's killing parasites. And so change in tumor size here with the methylene blue intratumoral injection, 99% reduction in the malignant melanoma, 3,060% growth in the control. And then you see breast cancer, 100%. That's complete ablation, 1,100% growth in control. And you see these other markers. The only one that increased was this HeLa model, but the increase in the control was 329%. I just had one of the world's best oncologists, Dr. Michael Carfeld, on, where he was interviewing me on his podcast. And I said, would you give this to your patient? And he said, it's a no-brainer. You slowed the rate down. So you see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you slowed it down dramatically. And so, these are the ways to understand these types of things. So now, these are now let's get really sexy here, right? So now I'm going to put in cancer and stem cells, and I'm going to put in redifferentiation. So we're learning new words now. Most cancer doctors you talk to don't even know this word, which is to cause a stem cell to mature and to switch into a normal, healthy cell. And this is where differentiation, transist differentiation, according to the cancer stem cell theory, cancer stem cells can differentiate into cancer cells. And so that's the negative side, right? Where you see it go one way, because differentiation means to transform or change. So it's but now when we see a cancer stem cell, I'll show you the Chicago, the School of Molecular Engineering. Let's see if I can get this up here. So development cell biology, this is I wanted to see if I could find a better article. Cancer stem cells, let me go, because this one, this might help us here. No, this one here. Okay. Yeah, I should have had this one ready to go. Yeah, there we go. This is the one. Found it. Good things come to those who wait.
Yeah.
Okay, so look at this. This will blow your mind. Stem cells are unspecialized cells. They can eventually become one of any various type. Researchers can reprogram adult stem cells because stem cells survive longer than regular cells. What's differentiation therapy? Originates from scientists. Furthermore, it doesn't focus on killing cancer cells. So differentiation doesn't focus on that. It doesn't and doesn't surround healthy cells in the body with harmful chemicals, it's less toxic. Using stem cells to treat cancer, there are other potential ways to use stem cells to treat cancer. For example, cancer stem cells can be directly targeted to stop their growth or turned into Trojan horses that attack other tumor cells. Quintessent cancer stem cells. I'll show you the big kind of takeaways on this. Ready? We believe that stem cells can provide potential treatments for cancer of all types in many different ways. So as you could see, that the studies on cancer and all these amazing rates by which cancer is being put into remission, that now as you understand how stem cells are influencing and will actually go and migrate towards, and I'll show you that. The reason why they're saying they use it as a Trojan horse is because they're going to seek out and the cancer stem cells. So stem cells will seek out cancer stem cells and go and attach to them. But instead of forming the cancer, they're actually giving information. And here's an example here where they're showing the concept of differentiation therapy originated from scientists observing that hormones and cytokines, which are proteins that play a key role in cell communication, can stimulate stem cells to mature and lose their ability to regenerate. It followed that forcing cancer stem cells to differentiate into more mature cells could subsequently stop them from multiplying uncontrollably, making them become normal cells. Okay, so now we're seeing even the connection with hormones. And so all these things are mysteriously like bundling together, which nobody is talking about this. Like, here's an example of stem cell. Now we're over to red light and thyroid conditions, and then I'll let you try to stomach this fire hydrant that I've just pumped into your face, where it's gone not only in your eyes, your mouth, but in your eyes and ears, everywhere you didn't want it to go, and you have just been blasted. So this was 350 patients, and here you had red light being 70 times more effective than using supplements alone in achieving thyroid hormone balance in Hashimoto's, a degenerative thyroid condition that's understood as incurable, and 15 times greater at reducing levothyroxine dosage, meaning you don't need it because your thyroid's producing hormones naturally. So why am I saying this? Because all these conditions are connected. Like, you think that's weird that you're seeing like these rapid rates of thyroid dysfunction where almost every woman knows that they're just on this pendulum, like they're on a sliding scale. Like, how bad is it? Mm-hmm. And then men too. And so our hormones are struggling. We've got these fluctuating hormone levels. Testosterone is driven down. Women aren't falling pregnant. My wife had 3 miscarriages because of low progesterone levels. And so we're getting bombarded. We're all in this. She's about to give birth to a healthy baby girl.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And our third child, we suspected infertility. She had anxiety, depression, chronic pain, H. pylori, which is a shame because her name is Lori. So what a shame. Anyway, so she had a lot of problems, and so did I. And then that meant that we had a lot of marriage problems. So then which then causes depression. And so, we're all taking time bombs for these other more horrifying diagnoses. But then look at the hormone issues that are then driving the cancer and the viral load. And that's why you come over to another study where this was the 62 people with long COVID going into complete remission of 4 sessions with red light therapy. So it's dropping viral load exponentially. Viruses are absolutely having a direct correlation with cancer, and that's why this P53 gene is being depleted with, and it's the reason why elephants they don't get cancer because of the P53 gene, and now we're losing it because of like post COVID, the infection itself, mm-hmm. and now that's what's pushing the cancer rates up. But then, if we could stop the viral load in the body and that effect, then we look at the studies here that are showing this massive benefit where full recovery within 4 sessions for all photobiomodulation patients, complete resolution of oxygen, dyspnea, shortness of breath, oxygen above 97%, relief from digestive distress, brain fog gone, memory recall gone, executive function back to normal, emotional deficits gone. So you're fixing the things that are going together. Like, how could somebody have like, the dementia-like symptoms in their 30s, and we're seeing it all the time now. And you fix things systemically. You're giving all the microenvironments for cells to mature normally, which is everything from hormones, cytokines, to then reducing as well toxic load and viral infections that are driving these toxic infections, including microbes like parasites, which is why the photodynamic therapies then lead the way, as does PDT, as does PEMF, and in combination, especially with PDT, photodynamic therapy.
Well, it's pretty incredible, and I know that you definitely answered my question from the beginning of the show. Gave us a whole bunch of additional information. We are just about out of time, so I want to make sure that the audience knows where they can go to get this information. You can obviously, guys, go to the link in the description of the video, which is going to be found just below the actual window, and it is myredlight.com, and there's a couple of special offers for viewers of the program. If you guys want to order one of the items that Jono has on the website, then you can use code REDPILL25, but the best deal is going to be in the bundles, which will be code REDPILL30, and you'll actually get 30% off that bundle. And Jono, you guys have a satisfaction guarantee and all of that stuff, and ways for people to get a hold of you.
60 days.
Whole bunch of extra goodies and free things come with it as well. That you guys are. I get emails from your organization all the time because I got my mom a red light for her birthday back in November, and so there's a continuous stream of information that is sent out to make sure that the people who are using the products are educated in not only how to use them, but what they're going to be best for, and what different things might be coming up in terms of research, much like what we talk about here on the show.
Wow. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for appreciating that, Zach. Because, you can be chugging away and then nobody really sees what you're doing or really gets it and sees how much effort that takes and how much, I couldn't sleep last night, right? It's to do with, you learn something new, or you're concerned about somebody and what they're going through, and you're trying to solve a big problem, and then you work it out and you're excited, and so you can't sleep. And, it's just, these are all these combinations of things that, good, the bad, the ugly, everything in between. It's a labor of love there. And yes, thank you for sharing those profound tools. And so, as Zach said, the link is in the description. myredlight.com, super easy. The codes REDPILL25 and REDPILL30. REDPILL25 for 25% off individual items, and REDPILL30 for bundled items. And you can go to redlifelights.com and you can see that all the prices as they are, and you'll see that when you go to the myredlight.com page, it's the backdoor site that I share with the show host, and you'll see the discounts already. They're already showing you the price there, but you have to use the code at checkout. And we want people to use the codes because we want you guys to make savings, and we really care about that, because it also may mean that you were going to get a red light belt, but then you decided, because of the saving, you're going to get a panel, or maybe you'll get a combination. And there's the pulsing mode, which we haven't talked much about that, but you can do your research on using pulsing modes as well, which are available both in these precision devices and in the panels. I've shared some of these case studies, but we've seen people have amazing results with various conditions, whether it's with I saw Dee Dee with a 9 out of 10 pain score with back pain, sciatica. She went to a 0. I just saw with that reclaimed her career. I saw my grandma on my wife's side, get back her thyroid function with using this, right? What it would have cost her for the thyroid medication for the year is what that device would have cost her if I hadn't have given it to her, and which that's $100 a month for the thyroid medication. But now the whole family can use it, right? So let's imagine her and her husband, or whoever you're with in your home. Hopefully you may have someone in your life, you may not. But in either case, you just realize that everything else is like a one-time use. Typically, like a supplement is one-time use, or and it's for one person. Whereas in this case, you're opening that up and you're using that for the family. So when you do that, you look at the price, even a large panel like this would be $2 a session over the course of 2 years. $2 a session is crazy, but the energy output is about 3 to 10 cents typically. in terms of because of like, so there's no real cost to run it in that sense. Last thing I'll quickly share with you guys is this beautiful case study. This girl here, she was incoherent she's 33. She had some major toxicity and chronic pain that she had to get surgery for. As soon as she got into this mat, you'll see the reaction here. Tell me if you can hear this.
Can't hear it, no.
Yeah, okay. Just before we run this, ready? Watch this. Yeah, okay.
Peace.
So what are you feeling, Becca?
I feel deep relaxation, peace. All of my cells are just like exhaling a deep sigh of relief. And
She's just been crying, right? So you can see her eyes water, and she's about to say that. Ready? Wow.
Every cell. It feels like my whole body just finally unwound everything. It feels so good.
That's beautiful. You look emotional.
I was crying earlier. You missed it. Tears of joy and peace, like just absolute bliss.
Tears of joy, but and then you'll see the magnet bouncing around here, so you could see what's actually happening in your cells. This gives you an idea of what's happening in your cells right here. Ready? Watch this. Yeah.
Yep.
So you get the point there, guys. And so it's been a pleasure, Zach. And I think that, it's really simple, and, do something for yourself while we've got these discounts and while it's available. That will be a gift that you give back to yourself with something that is clinical grade that we're using in the top medical clinics, like with, Dr. Tony Jimenez from the Hope for Cancer Treatment Centers, Dr. Dan Pompa, they're using it. I just had a woman in their coaching program. She regained her period at 54, which means that what does that mean for what it did for her thyroid and her balancing of her hormones and everything that would be related to, as we age. And so we're able to do some miraculous things when we get the right therapies. And I think we really proved out the concept of the concept of what stem cells and what they're doing and the real life application. So I appreciate you having me to share that.
I would say so as well. All right. Thank you again, Jono, for being here. Appreciate you. Everybody at home, thank you for watching as well. Again, link is in the description, myredlight.com, and the codes are redpill25 and redpill30. Check it out. Let us know what you think, and I will see you here next time, Jono. Peace.
Thank you.